Hi everyone, hope you're all well. My name is Denise Bryan and welcome to Jijenge na Sotika. This is our third episode. Apologies, we were not able to do one last Wednesday because it was Happy Mashujaa Day. Happy Mashujaa Day, sorry about that. And actually, I had forgotten about it. And as I was preparing for today's class, today's episode is on goal settings. As I was watching the Mashujaa celebrations, the, the celebrations are very nostalgic for me because they mean a lot because of our family background. My grandparents were freedom fighters, and my parents also, contributed a lot in the development of certain things in our country. And it's just a place to appreciate the things that my grandparents did and my parents did, but also gave me reminded me of my passion about financial literacy. Like took me back to why I really got a desire for financial literacy, and it took me back when I decided to make this my dream, my passion. To be able to come up with curriculums and come up with engagements to help not only high income earners but also low income earners on how to make sound financial decisions. And I remember back in this decision was made back in 2015 during my consultancy stint with Mutual. I was a telesales consultant for them, and I remember we did there was a market research about financial matters and how East Africans view them. And the results are very shocking. Like for example, 91% of East Africans spend more than they earn. Another shocking finding was 71%. 71% of Kenyans actually do not have a retirement income. Another finding was actually 67% of Kenyans claim to know the aspects of compound interest, while only 18% understood that. Another finding was 70% of East Africans have no clue about equity and financial markets. And one what was very stark and really stood out was the fact that high income earners have similar characteristics with low income earners in the sense that just because you earn a lot, people assume you have financial education and literacy. And we came to find out that actually that's not the case. And you can find that people who earn a lot of money are in the same space as the same as low income earners. And that really made me refocus. I think Moshujaji was one of my days to just refocus on why I decided to take this journey. And I went back to look at the the results of being able to break down financial literacy to different kinds of people, different sets of people. And I remember one engagement with one of my friends who shared a similar passion. His name is also Brian. And I remember when I accompanied him in his endeavor to empower street families to be able to, come out from begging and be able to support them. And just seeing basic financial literacy concepts like table banking enabled these families, to be empowered in small things like he would give them a loan of 1,000 shillings, and they would go and buy bananas and sell at the end of the day and make profits. And slowly by slowly, you would see over a span of 6 months to 1 year that these people are not only like not only begging in the streets, but actually getting a room somewhere and they're staying and they have a roof over their shoulders. And it encouraged me to be able to continue with this conversation on financial literacy. And so it gave me laser sharp focus on achieving this goal. And it kind of married with today's topic on goal setting, and it enabled, like, my passion for financial literacy enabled me to come up with different concepts to break down financial concepts. So, like for example, last time I talked about how we should eat fast like the lion. So that concept I learned on how to use the big five animals that we take pride in as Kenyans and be able to use it to explain, get some concepts from these animals, and being able to get something that we can be able to tag into our financial goals and financial well-being, and just be able to break down those concepts so that you can be able to understand. And today's concept, I'm gonna dive in and just show you the secret of the leopard. And yeah, as I mentioned last time, we were talking about savings, and we were saying that we should eat fast, just like the lion. So, you eating fast means savings, but savings without goals is just putting money somewhere with no cause. And immediately a need comes through, you just take your savings and you will just spend it, and then you go back to the same space. So today we're gonna dive into goal setting, and we're gonna use the concept of the leopard. So the leopard is a very interesting animal. It's the second biggest cat in Africa, and it has a very interesting hunting technique whereby it does not chase its prey. It actually focuses and focuses on the element of surprise. So it was forced to develop very laser sharp focus when it comes to stalking its prey. And a leopard can sit and chill in the grass for like 30 minutes to an hour, just focusing on that one target, that one gazelle that it wants to punch. And the most interesting thing, even as I watched the documentaries, you'll find that in its pursuit for this one gazelle, sometimes they get scared and they scatter, and one would actually pass by its path. But the most interesting thing, it does not focus on these other gazelles that are coming in, but there was just one that it had set the target and locked on it and jumped on it and ensure that it got it. And that's the same concept I want us to have when we are setting our own goals. We should have that same laser sharp focus. And today we're going to talk about aspects of like we're going to talk about how we set our goals and the aspects that our goals should have, uh, so that we can be able to set goals that are working for us and that would be able to help us to reach our level of financial independence. And we're going to use an acronym called SMART, setting SMART goals. And so this is an acronym that basically shows the aspects of like the characteristics that your goals should have. So an S stands for, should have written this. Horizon. Let me just, so SMART, SMART. So S stands for specific. So your goals should be specific. The goals should be, geared towards tangible results. Like for example, should your goals should more or less sound like, I want to be able to save X amount for my emergency fund during this time, or should say I my goal should be being able to buy a plot of land that will cost me this amount of money, is located in this place, and I hope to buy it by this time. It should be specific so that you can be able to measure the tangibility of it. Yeah. The second acronym is measurable. So the aspects of your goal is the measurable aspect is you should be able to find a system or a way you can be able to keep yourself accountable. And in this aspect, one of the places or the templates or the tools I can be able to recommend is actually the Sutika app. So like when you log in into the Sutika app on the homepage, you have the opportunity or you have the luxury of being able to set up your goals, like what you're looking for. And once you've been able to set that up, there's an insight tab on the app that gives you, like diagrams and insight on how you're doing concerning your goals. You can be able to reality check them. You can be able to see how you're doing actually on a daily, on a weekly, on a monthly basis. So one of those that is one of the aspects I really recommend and I really love about the app. It enables me to be able to do that for myself, and I hope you can be able to do that for yourself even as you're setting up your goals. The other one is they should be attainable. Yeah. Your goals should be attainable. I mean, being attainable means that you should be able to set your goals in a sense that in a reality sense whereby you look at where you're at, your financial might or your financial cash flows at the moment, and then be able to set goals based on that. Don't set too high goals that will discourage you and make you be able to drop off. Even set a simple goal, like for example, I remember when I was learning about this, one of the ways I was able to, make an attainable goal was being able to clear a debt that I had. Well, it was a debt that you assume, but it is always there. It is a debt. So in being able to be able to apply this into my life, I set the goal of clearing. It was an Mshwari debt of like 3,000. You receive the messages every single time. I ignore, but I realized it's not sound, and I decided to put that as a goal. And it was very nice, and I attained that, and it gave me impetus to also set other goals and be able to achieve them. And R is reasonable. Oh, relevant. Sorry, relevant. I mean, let your goals be relevant to your goals and to your values, to your long-term objectives. Because as we during our episode one, I talked about being self-aware will lead you towards being financially aware. So this aspect enables you to set goals depending on what you're hoping to achieve, be it in the long term, be it in the medium term, and be it in the short term. So let them be relevant to you, not to other people, not to your friends, not to try to keep up the Joneses, but no, let them be relevant to you. Let them be relevant to you, maybe wanting to achieve your goals and your dreams. Yeah, and lastly, let them be time bound. Time bound means setting a certain realistic time frame that you hope to achieve this goal, and this helps you to create a discipline of keeping yourself accountable. Sometimes we at work. Sometimes when you're at work, there's a timeline. You need to do your responsibilities, and sometimes we see ourselves going over and above to be able to achieve those goals for the companies and the businesses that we work for. I mean, why don't we apply the same aspects in also like achieving our own financial goals? I think to be very fulfilling to yourself and more to build you, because it's building you and building what you want to achieve and what you love. And so if you follow this aspect, I mean, it will give you the opportunity to now know, about your goals. So you'll know your short-term goals, your medium-term goals, and your long-term goals. What these aspects enable you to do as well is will allow you to research. It will give you a headway on how to research your goals. How do you want to achieve them? What skills or what tools do you need to be able to do that for you? What this does, it also helps you to reality check your goals. Sometimes we set goals and they can be too, ambitious, and there's nothing wrong with ambitious goals. Is just being able to know, the reality of you achieving these goals or not. And with that in mind, you can now be able to also prioritize, so that maybe you will start with, the goals that you can be able to achieve very fast. That gives you the impetus to also achieve other goals. You know, it gives you that opportunity to do that. And lastly, it also gives you the opportunity to invite someone to be an accountability partner. It could be someone, or it could be, like, for example, our app, the Sotika app. The Sotika app can be able to keep you accountable on the goals you've set, because it gives you prompts to check, gives you prompts on your daily, weekly, and monthly performances based on the goals you have set. It helps you to lock down, lock down on the goals. You cannot be able to access the money you've set aside for your goals up until you achieve them. It helps you to even come and even set out the time bound aspect on your goals, whereby you'll be able to, the app will help you to achieve your goals according to the time that you have set. And basically, that's what goal setting in a nutshell will help you to do that. And as in this journey of goal setting, you'll definitely realize, as you continue to set up your goals and everything, you'll realize that where you are at in terms of your financial status. Yeah. And in terms of financial status, we have four levels of financial status, which I will illustrate with this following diagram. Yeah. So I'll draw like four squares. So the first square, it's a square, but please Don't mind my stick skills, but this square represents. This is a very dire financial state, and you're in this dire financial state when your expenses exceed your income. Like you find yourself in every single month or every single time that you look at your financials, you'll always find that your expenses exceed the amount of money you're earning, and this is a place where most people are, and it's we call it a dire financial state. Then the second square, we call it a bad situation, bad financial situation. And here in this state is your income is equal to your expenses. There's no savings, there's no emergency fund, there's you're just living by the grace of God, which is good, but it makes you very vulnerable to risks, makes you vulnerable to something, an emergency can come through and you cannot be able to wiggle around it. You might have to, resort to getting into debt to be able to sort out that emergency, of which makes you go maybe even back to this situation if that arises. Yeah. And then the third square is a good financial situation, and this is usually temporary. So this is where your income, your expenses uh, are within your income. Your expenses do not exceed your income. And here you have, let's say you've set up 10% of your income going towards an emergency fund. You're saving maybe for your education, something like that. So at this point, whereby you have some money set aside for you after your expenses, and at the same time you've also catered in for your savings and all that. Yeah. And then the last square that we all hope to achieve is we call this financial independence. Financial independence, and this is where your assets take care of the asset income that you have, the different income flows that you have take care of your expenses. So in this sense, you have income flows coming in, assets coming in to take care of your normal expenses like your food, your rent, your whatnot, and even now you have asset income coming in from your investments. Here let's say you've already set up a retirement fund, you have an income when you're retiring. Here, maybe you have set up your investment. I mean, you've set up your home fund whereby you're saving towards. You've invested and gotten your house, and it's bringing you an income like that. Here is when you you're comfortably living the life that you have been working for. Your money is working for you in this place, in this sense. And so you might find yourself in either one of these places. And so in being able to do the progression now, moving from one status to another as we hope to get to financial independence. Um, so if you find yourself in this dire financial state whereby your expenses exceed your income, what I can recommend is take a look at your budget. Take a look at what is eating unnecessary expenses on your budget. Will it mean maybe cutting down on your entertainment budget, for example? I don't know. Another thing you can be able to look at is other income flows. How can you make extra cash to be able to meet your expenses? And the aim from getting to this state is basically ensuring that your income equals your expenses, and you should be able to now work towards that. I recommend getting a financial advisor to work with you through this journey, because it's a professional who keeps you accountable. And I always say, if you value something, you pay. There's a cost to it, and having that cost of a financial advisor coming in and advising you on this would give you the impetus and the courage to be able to get yourself in this space to get yourself here. Now, if you're in this space, same case applies. Look at what you can be able to cut down from your expenses, but also like this is a place where you should have like your medium term, your short term goals, your medium term goals, and your long term goals set up. For example, here is a place you can decide that you would like to start setting up an emergency fund, and you can start maybe deducting 10% of your income to go towards that. And an emergency fund is a fund that can be able to take you through 6 months plus. Let's say if your job gets lost and your income disappears, at least this fund can be able to take care of your needs as you look for other income streams in the meantime. Yeah. If you find yourself in this space, very well. But there's also the tendency of also like slipping back to this space. So also check out what you can be able to reduce on your income, and more or less focus on now saving like 20% of your income, and you're not saving it just for saving sakes. In this place you can now be able to set aside 10% of your income towards your emergency fund, and the fund that keeps you secure in case of expenses that arise that you're not planned for. But also like set aside like 10% to go towards your investment fund. Yeah. Let 10% go to your asset acquisition. Maybe your plan is to buy a piece of land, or you're hoping to get into investing in shares. I mean, you have to get a certain investment set aside to be able to invest in that, and that goes towards that and goes towards building your wealth that would lead you to this space of financial independence. And a place of financial independence is you've taken care of your risks. You have your education policies for the children in place. If you have kids, this is the place you've set aside your retirement fund. This is where you have your insurance is taken care of. If you have home insurance, whichever insurance risks that you see, we've been able to mitigate here with your 10%, and also the other 10% you're building your wealth and getting yourself to this place of financial independence. And just in a nutshell, and to finish, is to encourage you. There are aspects you need to have here, personal aspects. Number one, you have to be very honest with yourself. If you want to make the transitions, depending on where you are, you have to be very honest with yourself. You have to be very courageous. You have to be very courageous. You have to be real with yourself. Unajita mkutano, unajiambia by these are the things I don't like. These are things I think they're taking my, messing up my financial status. So you have to be very courageous. You have to develop self-control. Self-control is very important. We live in a place whereby financial discipline is difficult. If you have like things like, for example, for me, my financial downfalls are shoes and watches, and if I am not careful, any extra money that comes into that, I would divert it there without thinking twice. So we have to develop self-control in terms of how to handle that. And the other thing is discipline. You have to be disciplined. It's hard to start a new thing, but researchers say that if you do something for 21 days consecutively, it becomes a habit. So develop that discipline of setting aside that. And lastly, it's never that serious. Take yourself easy. Appreciate yourself for where you've gotten. At least you've taken the step of getting to know where you're at in terms of your finances. And then after that, it's a good go. I think this will be able to get you to understand where you're at, be able to now help you set your goals, can help you set your your financial goals. You can be able to know what you want to achieve in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, and help you get to that. And yeah, basically that was our discussion for today. I hope it was helpful, despite my bad drawings and handwritings, but I hope they were helpful and will help you to guide you on how to set your goals and reality check yourself in terms of these goals. So I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for engaging with me. If you have any question, if you have any comment, please comment in our section and then we will be able to get back to you. If you want to have a one-on-one session with a financial advisor, just let us know and we can see how we can set that up. But I want to say thank you so much for your time and I hope to see you next week. Have a lovely day ahead.
My name is Wilfred Obwile. I'm in the management team of this company. This is Organella by Umage. We basically deal with organic products. We're in the line of hair products, the face and the body. So we've narrowed down to organic production, and that's the service delivery to our clients. So the company was founded in 2018. That's when the company began, but it picked on in around 2019, early the first months of 2019. That's when the company picked up, and that's how we've been able to get to this far. We began from somewhere very far, but as at the moment we can say that it's been a milestone to us. While beginning the business, we had several financial mistakes we made, or the financial challenges that we had as a company. We realized that we didn't have enough cash flow at times. You find that you've allocated the finances to one thing and the rest of the affairs are yet to be met. So you run out of funds completely and you are remaining with nothing. So whatever you are waiting for is you are waiting to sell some products, at least you get some finances out of it. That's one of the financial problems that we had. But in the process, sometimes back when I was just going through Facebook and I came across a sponsored ad about Sotika, and that's how I got to learn a lot about Sotika, and that's how we brought it in to our company so that it will help us solve the financial challenges that we had, especially in terms of savings, creating the emergency fund for our employees, and even for ourselves, meeting these other unforeseen expenses. That's how we incorporated Sotika to come and help us as a company. I want to tell the business people, those ones who are intending to get into business, that Sotika is the way out. I don't want to see them go through the mistakes that we made as a company, because right now we already have Sotika, and this one could help them avoid all the mistakes that we had as a company. So all the Kenyans out there, I request that you take this platform. This one is a real deal, and it will really help you in mitigating and reducing all these financial struggles that people face when at the inception of their businesses.
Sotika, Nikki Spend na Save.